Q is the 17th letter of the ISO basic Latin alphabet.
History.
The Semitic sound value of kop, perhaps originally kai, cord of wool, and possibly based on an Egyptian hieroglyph, was /q/, voiceless uvular stop, a sound common to Semitic languages, but not found in English or most Indo-European ones. In Greek, this sign is kopper. Probably came to represent several labialized velar stops, among them /kw/ and /kwk/. As a result of later sound shifts, these sounds in Greek changed to /p/ and /pk/ respectively. Therefore, kopper was transformed into two letters, kopper, which stood for a number only, and ph, which stood for the aspirated sound /pk/ that came to be pronounced /f/ in modern Greek. In the earliest Latin inscriptions, the letters C, K and Q are all used to represent the two sounds /k/ and /g/, which were not differentiated in writing. Of these, Q was used before a rounded vowel, for example, EQO, ego, K before /a/, and C elsewhere. Later, the use of C, and its variant G, replaced most usages of K and Q. Q survived only to represent /k/ when immediately followed by a slash with sound. The Etruscans used Q in conjunction with V to represent /kw/.
Use in English.
In English the digraph Q most often denotes the cluster /kw/, except in borrowings from French where it represents /k/ in plaque. See list of English words containing Q not followed by U. Q is the second least common letter in the English language, with a frequency of just 0.09% in words. Only Z occurs less often. It is the only letter not included in the name of any U.S. state.
Use in other languages.
In most European languages written in the Latin script, such as in Romance and Germanic languages, Q appears almost exclusively in the digraph Q. Notable exceptions to this are Albanian, in which Q represents the voiceless palatal stop, and Maltese and Voro, which use Q to represent the glottal stop. In French, Occitan, Catalan and Portuguese, Q represents /k/ or /kw/. In Spanish, it represents /k/. Q replaces C for /k/ before front vowels I and E, since in those languages C represents a fricative or affricate before front vowels. In Italian Q represents /kw/, where /with is the semivowel allophone of /u/. Q has a wide variety of pronunciations among non-European languages that have adopted the Latin alphabet. The International Phonetic Alphabet uses Q for the voiceless uvular stop, and it has this value in Aymara, Greenlandic, Quechua, Uighur and Uzbek. In Azerbaijani, Q stands for a voiced velar stop. In Chinese Hanyu Pinyin, Q is used to represent the sound, which is close to English ch and cheese, but pronounced further towards the front of the mouth. Q in Fijian has the value of a prenasalized voiced velar stop. In Kiowa, Q represents a glottalized velar stop. In Xhosa and Zulu, Q is used for the post-alveolar click.
Forms and variants.
The lowercase q, q, is usually seen as a lowercase o with a descender, that is, downward vertical tail, extending from the right side of the bowl, with or without a swash, that is, flourish, even a reversed lowercase p. The lowercase q's descender is usually typed without a swash due to the major style difference typically seen between the descenders of the lowercase g, a loop, and lowercase q, vertical. The descender of the lowercase q is sometimes handwritten finishing with a rightward swash to distinguish from the leftward-facing curved descender on the lowercase g. In some forms of English cursive, the capital Q is very close in appearance to a numeral 2, and many people use the print Q instead.
Related letters and other similar characters.
QQ, Latin letter Q with stroke, Q, Latin letter Q with hook, QQ, Latin letter Q with hook tail, Cyrillic letter QA, KJ, KJ, Cyrillic letter KG, KK Cyrillic letter K with descender. Q, Hebrew kof, rotated capital Q, a signature mark.
Other representations.